You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh,
you know what time it is. I'm raw with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. Buckeyes by a billion. We in the building with over 100,000. We represent from the uttermost to the public housing. If we don't play, our wide receivers got your secondary shook, so they cook them like Bobby Flay. Hey, stay out of my way and trust me, cause I know it's OH. Somebody please give this brother an IO. Come on.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk about college football with real fans. Got a lot going on today. A lot more is going to be going on today. The closer that we get to signing day. Is this Ohio State's recruiting class in any danger? Going to dive in that a little bit tonight. Going to dive into the Heartline stuff. We already know the answer to that. I've known the answer to that, but it's official now, so we can all relax there. In Michigan, still up to some no good things. I had a conversation today with an interesting source that shared some interesting information with me. I'm going to share that with you guys. Intrinsic should be joining us shortly at some point. He's got some stuff to share as well. So first, let's dive into it. Obviously, right, we've been going on this. There's this trend about Con3 and all these other sites always putting out that these Ohio State recruits are on flip watch. Like there have been 7 articles on 3 about Chris Henry Jr. flipping this year, and I think I'm being generous there. So, I mean, they just always shoot their shot there with that. Well, man, this recruiting, it's so wild anymore. Like, you guys know who I talk to. You guys know where most of my information comes from that I give you guys. And I gave you guys some information about Caden Dixon-Wyatt about a week ago. For those of you guys that watch the show, you know exactly where that came from. Well, that information doesn't look like is correct. It looks like Caden Dixon-Wyatt is going to be going to USC. I'm still hoping that the Buckeyes can pull a miracle off here. A lot of people were saying, hey, this is probably because Brian Hartline's going to get the Kentucky job. Was never worried about that. It looks like Kentucky has hired Will Stein for that one. So it looks like we're good to go there. The next one up, Chris Henry Jr., man, what's going to go on there? Oregon has been after him hard. They've been after him hard for quite some time. I had an interesting conversation with somebody today that seemed a little bit concerned at first, but I don't know if something happened this afternoon or not, but he texted me back, just a Buckeye. So I'm being told that Chris Henry Jr. is a Buckeye. The Buckeyes worked hard to make sure that he stayed in this class, and it looks like they succeeded in doing so. Some other recruiting news, Braylon Womack, you guys know, family, he was on this show a lot. Flipped again, Mississippi State today. So, man, this recruiting industry, it's just getting wild, man. And, you know, it's really not that wild if you think about it, because just think about you in your own life and how many different decisions you would make if people came to you and offered you $100,000 to do this or do that. Let's say somebody came to you and says, hey, tomorrow at 2:00, can you be here? I'll give you $50. You tell that person, yes, I'm going to be there. And then somebody else comes up and says, hey, tomorrow at 2:00, I really need you at this spot. I'll give you $100,000. Where are you going to go? You're going to tell that first person, hey, sorry, I can't make it. So obviously it's not that big of a discrepancy. The USC stuff with Caden Dixon-Wyatt, I was told there is no discrepancy there. But again, I don't know. This is the Buckeyes. We're going to be fine if he does end up flipping out of this class. Of course, Jaquaden Guilford, LSU offered them the day because Lane Kiffin went to LSU, and Jaquaden Guilford, that's who we were in a battle with. Ole Miss and Ohio State with Lane Kiffin. So Lane over to LSU now, got a little bit more money. They're trying to throw it Jaquaden's way. So it's going to get awful exciting when it comes to signing day. But that's all I got to share there. We'll get into some more recruiting stuff at a later time. Just know, Buckeye fans, we're going to be all right. Okay, like things always weed themselves out. Things always work themselves out. Ohio State is way bigger than one player or one coach always has been. Now to dive into this stuff. Michigan, man. I mean, bro, if you guys just watch the Scoop show over there, you know everything that is going on, everything that is happening. It's getting wild. And we know that our comms got shut down during the game. And there's been some interesting videos coming out of that, but I'm going to need a little help breaking this down. Somebody who follows this with precision, with accuracy, all over it. You got Justin Spiro, you got Scoop, and then you got our main man, Intrinsic. Intrinsic, what's up, brother?
Not much. How you doing, Dev?
I'm good, man. Just relishing in all this news that we're hearing coming out about this Michigan team, bro. I mean, we it's not really surprising. We know who they were. We know who they've been. We see how they react to things, and then we demolish them on the field, and then all of a sudden today, right? I had a conversation with somebody about this on-field communication stuff being out for the Buckeyes. We'll dive into that first. Then I'm going to leave it up to you on if you want to talk about anything else, but I'm going to start with that, and I'm going to get a few things pulled up here from your X account if you want to go ahead and talk about if you've heard anything else in regards to that. You know, when you watch these videos I'm going to pull up, you can see that there's clearly Michigan staff members right beside the Ohio State, communication box. And it doesn't look like they're having the nicest of conversations with the Ohio State staff. So, what do you got on that?
Yeah, so we did some digging into that whole sequence, right? From the tele broadcast telling you multiple power outages, which is weird. It didn't just go out one time, it went out multiple times, like a piece of equipment malfunctioned. Isn't it just dead? So it came back on a couple times. And then we're looking at the sidelines here, and there's an altercation. It's a clear altercation of Michigan people. So you have Michigan guys dressed in Michigan gear. They're near the communications equipment. I highlighted that in the video. You got to go to the other one, Dev. This one shows the.
All
So
right.
you can see the altercation in that one. You guys who just seen that. It's going to be the one underneath a quote tweet to that. So, that one. Yeah, that one. Pull that one up. So you see, that's the people.
All right, there we go. I got it on mute.
So there's the people that are gonna have the altercation. He's wearing Michigan gear. There's a guy who's got it all strapped, and see right there, there's comms equipment. So this is near the communication, at least one communication center that's on the sideline there. You see them clearly arguing. So they're fighting over something. Now, this was during the comms blackout period. So this was during when they could not communicate, and a reporter was on the sideline. So you have this guy. He's been identified on the Ohio State sideline with all the belt and all the communication equipment. You have a communication hub, and you have guys arguing, and there's at least two Michigan people near that communications equipment. Now, I'm not accusing those people of doing it. I don't know. That's the thing is, something happened that took down the comms on just Ohio State's sideline. Then a fight breaks out where that guy runs over and breaks out the fight. So for one, people should not be fighting on your sidelines from the other team. For one, forget the communications going out. Why is Michigan people causing fights on Ohio State's sideline? And why is that happening when the power's out?
Dang. Sorry, Intrinsic.
You play the audio, but play it down a little bit. Because I think it's important to hear. This is the level of intensity going on.
Yeah, they are screaming.
They're screaming at each other. And there's a cop there. And it's just like, don't tell me this is nothing. Or this is something. Okay? At the very least, why is Michigan people on the sidelines fighting? And this is happening during a comms blackout. I mean, are the Michigan people upset because they lost their comms? I don't think so, right? I mean, maybe they're being accused and that caused the fight. We don't know. The bottom is we don't know. There needs to be an investigation into this because to me, something went wrong. It was extremely coincidental. And you're dealing with a program that's on probation for being on the sidelines of an opponent's team, right? Or scouting an opponent's team. So you have a sideline incident. Michigan can't be trusted. And this needs to be looked into if it's not already being looked into, which I believe it is. What are you hearing, Dom?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because that person you see arguing in that video it's Quinn Temple. It's essentially Ryan Day's assistant. He's the assistant chief of staff assistant for Ohio State. So it's not like this is some low-level staff member arguing with these guys. In the first video, you see him running backwards, and in the second video we pulled up, you can see him come over into the frame and kind of start trying to break up that argument that's going on. And yesterday I told you guys, I got a friendly little email from somebody who in the past that during these sign stealing allegations, I was having conversations with him back and forth. And through that, he was about 60-40. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. And he said, hey, man, I need to give you a call. Got to talk to you. Gave my number, talked to him today. And he said that it's already known what went down, that Michigan knows what happened. They know what did it. They are in the middle of figuring out who that was, and they will be bringing that person forward. Now, that is all I have on that. I've not been able to confirm that with anybody else. Again, this person was in the end during the sign stealing allegation stuff at about a 60-40 rate. I'm sure that's pretty good in that realm considering everything that was going on. So for him to reach out the way he did and go about the business the way he did and telling me that information, I'm very curious to see what comes out these next couple of days because I know Ohio State is reaching into this. They've contacted NCAA. Not that that's going to do any good, right? I mean, and again, I know Ohio State fans, hey, we beat them on the field, not too worried about this, but it's just the point of the matter that these guys just don't stop, man. They don't stop, and you're not going to convince me, especially with those videos intrinsic that you pulled up and broke down, and then the other point of view of it. I don't know, man. That didn't seem like they were having a conversation about a piece of equipment that broke. You know what I'm saying? It didn't seem like they were having people want to bring it to people want to say, well, it was probably the snow. This is the largest football game of the year. It was in the forecast to snow. Football games get played in the snow all the time. You're not going to tell me that this was faulty equipment because a couple snowflakes brought it down, crumbling to the ground. A couple snowflakes got on it and brought it down, bro. It's wild to me.
Well, hold on. It's snowing on Michigan's sideline too. They people don't realize how bland college football is. There's a whole checklist and a whole rule book for how these operators, they call them C2P operators and technicians and game management, for 2.5 hours before the game, they're testing all this. They're making sure everything is going to work, that it's fair, that it's, it's protected. There's a whole security that goes into this. So to me, the big key to pick up on is there's power outages. So what can cause a power outage? Well, someone pulling a plug, right? This would all be stuff that isn't very hard to do. You pull a plug, that would cause it. If someone at the stadium, and those plugs, those wires run a long ways too. Down those sides, there's a lot of wiring that they cover up with stuff. So I mean, anywhere someone pulls a plug, cuts it, whatever, it wouldn't take much to cut the power out. Or they could flip a circuit if someone had access to the circuit breaker to their sideline, right? It was a total power outage, is what we were told. From the booth could not communicate to the coaches could not communicate to the players. So everything failed. And my concern is there's multiple of these. So the other thing that you could say, okay, what could have happened where Michigan didn't do this? Well, maybe there was equipment failure. That's possible. That'd be the only way that there wasn't any type of, sabotage on this part, is that there was equipment failure. But bottom line, I feel like, this is a quote I keep thinking of in my head. Because Michigan, given, they're repeat offenders as an institution, they have a repeat offender as a coach. We've already known that the culture is to go up to the line and cross it. right? I feel like we're dealing with. I remember that quote from Ronald Reagan when he was dealing with the Soviets during the nuclear disarmament. He said, "Trust but verify," and it was kind of hilarious because the trust part was like, "We don't really trust you." I feel like that's how you have
Yeah.
to deal with Michigan. Yeah, anything like this happens, I'm sorry, you're a repeat offender and you got caught for cheating, running the biggest on-field cheating scandal. The public is going to assume that something happened here until they're told that they did. And if you're a Michigan fan, you should want there to be an investigation and for there to be like, okay, hey, we're cleared, nothing happened. This is a piece of faulty equipment or something. But I just find it very strange. And just as an Ohio State football team, you guys are in the playoffs, right? You're gonna have a bye. Your number one ranked team. You can't have this happen again. That slowed down that entire game. That was a big deal. Him having to run plays in and out of the game. I mean, you guys controlled the game. You're winning no matter what. But if the game's close and something like this happens again, that's a big problem. And, that's just
Bro,
one. That's just one thing that's going on. The craziest part is the stuff they're doing with Sharon Moore. I mean, today was insane. Like the difference, like today was probably my most insane day, and I was a part of the whole. When Stanley was coming out, and there was pictures and people were saying that wasn't him. I was a part of that whole thing, right? Today was the craziest part because it wasn't just people like me and Spiro and Buckeye Scoop and Dev and Buckeye Boys. It literally was Michigan was full out attacking their coach today, and it was coming from within inside the program. That was insane to me. They want more fired, 100%. And that's ignoring the rumors. So I don't on the rumors that I think Spiro just talked about, I don't have the reporting he has, and I'm not willing to go out there and make a claim that can ruin a man's life if I don't have the evidence. I try to deal with what I can and what I know. So I'm gonna stick with the other side of the attack. So yes, you have a rumor that conveniently leaks out of Michigan that makes their coach look bad, and then you have their number one insider, Michael Spath. This is a guy, for those who aren't privy to this, when he talks, everybody listen. Balas, he's the most known person there because he's constantly. This is like his job, right? But Spath is the one who he has his own separate business, but when he is an insider in this program, when he talks, everybody listens. And he just dropped everything on Sharon today. And the leaks, a lot of this stuff, I mean, it's going to be hard for, to read this all in a podcast form. But that last one, if you look at the blue words, in my opinion, an intrinsic opinion, and that is Chip Lindsey leaking to Spath, right? Chip Lindsey is talking about all the faults and what's going to happen to Underwood and what's going to happen to Andrew Marsh if Moore's kept there. And we call it the blue wall because these people, this is very well orchestrated. When they want someone gone, this is what they're going to do. They're going to try to prop up Chip Lindsey and, the pop up the power brokers that are players. And they're going to do that to pit him against Moore because they're going to come down and fire Moore. And Spath even says that if you let's see, I got it pulled up in front of me too. Spath even basically says he's going to be fired. Like he's talking about timing of it. So he's basically referencing his firing in here. I think the next 10 days will be very interesting to see who exits, excuse me. Um Yeah, and so anyways, Spath goes on this huge emotional tirade. You guys are feel free to look at this whole thread. I mean, it's just hard to read through all this stuff.
yeah,
But if you
there
really
it
want
is.
to
I got it pulled up.
yeah, and it goes for days. Like these are just little like this is super long. So he gives this huge strategic thing about how Sharon Moore was the problem versus Ohio State. Like Ohio State, that game was because of Sharon Moore. The game plan, Bryce should only throw 5 times, right? Like, how do you only throw 5 times? And how did Marsh only get one target? And we asked players and we talked to the coaches, and the coaches said, heck no, that wasn't in the game plan. So they're setting up Sharon Moore to be fired. And I feel like you said it too, Deb. Sharon Moore was the fall guy from the beginning of this. Like he's not River was a really good coach. They had sanctions coming that they knew were bad, and Sharon Moore was just a guy they put in there to get through it. And I think now this is all coming to an end here really quickly. Not to even mention the stuff that Spiro got into, which that's true. That's going to be its own thing. Uh,
Yeah. It you know, to you said a whole lot there, but to back up, I mean, this communication thing, when Ohio State fans, when we hear it, we don't get, I mean, we're upset about it, but not too upset because the score was 27-9.
yeah.
Okay, but you brought up a good point. What if the score would have been 10-9? In the third quarter, it's snowing and our communications go out. Ohio State, at that point in time, luckily we were running the ball, didn't need to score much because our defense was absolutely shutting them down. If it's 10-9, we saw what happened when the score was 10-9. The Buckeyes used tempo. They were throwing the ball down the field. The only way you can use tempo is with communications, right? So if the game would have went differently, this would have been a big deal. I heard another show, or I saw a write up about somebody who listened to another show stating that they have confirmation that this was in the plans to begin with. Now
Oh
I'm not going
yeah.
down that. I'm not going down that rabbit trail or anything like that. But it's just like that's a whole other subject right there. But to be honest with you, it's like, man, I wouldn't put it past him at all, and it's kind
No.
of crazy that this doesn't get made into a bigger deal. People aren't looking into, okay, so why was Michigan able to use their comms the entire time as well? Maybe they weren't. Maybe they did shut theirs down and we're not aware of it yet, but I'm not aware of it. Nobody else has brought that up yet. And I just think that if what I'm being told is correct, this is coming out in one way or the other, and we're going to find out. We'll see what ends up coming of it, but you just can't put anything past them. And as far as the Sharon Moore stuff goes, yeah, when you think back to this whole thing, it kind of looks like they hired him as the head coach, and everybody was kind of surprised. Hey, why did this dude get the job? How is he qualified for this job? I mean, even in the Ohio State game, you watch him call timeouts. You watch him in his other games, not Ohio State games, and he's making all kinds of really bad decisions. He looks lost out there sometimes, and this is without any hate. I'm not talking out of a place of hatred. I'm talking out of a college football fan. When you watch him on the sidelines, maybe he's got a different coaching style than a lot of head coaches, but he makes a lot of decisions as the head coach that don't seem very smart. So I've always been kind of intrigued, man, why would Michigan, right, hire this dude? He was kind of the fall guy. Well, come to find out, they didn't really need a fall guy because the NCAA didn't really do anything. And then fast forward to today. Why did they keep him? Well, Larry Ellison brought in a bunch of money, and everybody thinks Sharon Moore is a good recruiter. Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. It's awful easy to recruit when you have the richest man in the world giving you money. Okay, $100 million is like 0.01% of that dude's net worth. So here's $100 million. I mean, they brought Bryce Underwood. So it's like people are bringing up he's a good recruiter. If he was a good recruiter, it wouldn't have cost him $13 million to get their in-state quarterback to sign for them. The in-state quarterback who trashed and clowned on your program to begin with, right? Well, then you fast forward to this game, Sharon Moore, they get demolished. Okay, the score was 17-9 going into halftime, but realistically, if you watched the game, you knew Michigan did not have a chance of scoring. This Buckeyes defense was shutting them down. Well, then after the game, a couple days, and today they start off with, hey, where did this game plan come from? And then one of their insiders, as you brought up, is the one that started saying, hey, Sharon Moore threw out the game plan. Players are upset, all this other thing. So that's where it started of, hey, all right, Sharon Moore, it's official. He's not going to be able to get the job done. So let's start throwing these things out there. I haven't been able to find where did this other piece come from, because everybody's aware what the other Moore stuff is. I'm not a fan of bringing that up either. I'll let somebody
Yeah.
else bring it up, but we all know the allegations that are out there. Do you have any idea where these allegations started? Did they start behind the blue wall? Is this another one that started from inside there? Where did this come from? Was it
So
Spiro? Did Spiro
yeah, so apparently Spiro's had this for months.
Yeah.
Apparently, I mean, I don't want to, because I mean, I'm just basically quoting Spiro. I mean,
Yeah.
what Spiro said is that he's had this for months, and that Michigan has known of allegations beforehand. Now, again, this is all stuff that has not been reported. This is all allegedly. You guys have to understand that this is allegedly. You understand if you were Sharon Moore, if you, just imagine you were him and someone did this to you, you deserve the right because this could kill his career. So I think as far as that, let's see how that plays out, right? Let's just wait
Yeah.
for the reporting to come out because Spiro said he's going to have reporting and it should be cited. But seeing how they want Moore gone anyways, I think if there was some type of incident on the sideline, right, for this, say someone pulled a plug or did something that caused the communications to go down, I think Michigan, hearing what their insiders are saying and the tone towards Moore, it appears to me like they would want to find out too. Because they're down 27-9. This provided like they were not going to all of a sudden win this game. This to me seems like someone who seen Connor Stallings being paraded around like a hero after what he did. I mean, parading around a cheater who operated the KGB, right? And he delegitimized that entire program. They're the laughing stock of college football. But he was made into a hero. He got paid large sums of money for being famous. And then so if you're someone on the sideline, you're angry because you're getting your teeth kicked in the game. Just takes an emotional person to make a dumb decision. And next thing you know, the power's out. And in a program that has this that culture of go to the line and cross it, breaking the rules, it's not a rules-based culture. Like if you did this at Ohio State, Ryan Day would kick you out of the program and you or nobody you're associated with would touch the sideline ever again, right? At Michigan, it's like, hey, well, Connor Stalions will be back there coaching in 7 years. Like we all agree on that. That guy's going to be back in that program. I guarantee it. He will be. And so regardless, it's like it's just one more thing with these guys. It's like as soon as you think it's nothing, it's one more thing. And then it just is like turned into everything today. Like this is such a disgraceful way to do this to their coach. I almost feel bad for Sharon Moore, all the stuff they're doing with him. I mean, he's there with his other coaches too. They're all throwing him under the bus and blaming him for this. Like Drake may regressed under Chip Lindsey. Maybe Chip Lindsey's not a good coach. Have you ever thought of that? Like maybe he's just
Yeah.
not a good coach. I mean, you can't. But regardless, yeah, I think it's a program that is not elite. They've never been elite outside of 3 years of cheating, and they're holding these people to a lot higher standards than they can meet. And the only way they could get there, even with Harbaugh, was to cheat. So I will say one thing, Dev, on this cheating, there's supposed to be a process. It's supposed to be handled by the Big Ten. Immediately when
Okay.
immediately when they're talking on the sidelines and then they tell them, hey, our communications are down. They tell the orange hats, which are neutral tech comms, they tell them, hey, we're having a problem on the sidelines. That immediately starts a process in which it should lead to both sides being cut off. That didn't happen, but it also starts a process that's an investigatory process. So there's a preliminary investigation that's done within 24 to 72 hours of the game. That should run us into Tuesday. So that initial, they basically look at the logs, they diagnose the communications because it's all logged. These are computers, right? You can track everything on these computers. And then so they see what happened, they diagnose, what went wrong. And also part of that is they start to interview people. So if people from Ohio State, as you're mentioning, they're aware they've been talking about it, they're probably talking to the Big Ten because the Big Ten's supposed to see this and supposed to see like, hey, what exactly went wrong for these comms to go down. And if they find during that 24 to 72-hour process that they don't have answers for why this happened, then a formal investigation starts. And some of this might start reminding you guys of like back when the Big Ten got involved way back when. And the Big Ten took an unprecedented move and suspended them during the middle of the season. But a lot of times these Big Ten investigations, we don't know about them. It's going to take like a Pete Thamel or a Justin Spiro or a Dan Wetzel or somebody to tell us a formal investigation has been open, or for Michigan to admit, hey, because Michigan has a duty if this happened by someone that's associated with the program, they have a duty to report. It's a responsibility to cooperate. So I don't know. We should hear something about this because I tell you what, I had over 4 million impressions today on this. It's 4.3 million. This is
Yeah.
a huge, huge story because
Yeah.
I mean, it's Michigan. Everybody knows. People who do not think that thinks that this is an Ohio State, Michigan State thing for not liking Michigan. You are wrong. You are dead wrong. Everyone looks at this program this way. So I think we will get answers here because of just how big this story is and how similar it is to a program that literally just got the 70 something page letter from the NCAA that said everything they did wrong. And just one more thing. Sorry for going such a long tangent. Larry Ellison, yes, he has a lot of money to fund their problems. Ward Manuel mentioned that, and he said it, and I believed him because I looked into him when he said it. That $30 million plus they have to pay, that's not minimum money. They have budgets they have to manage, and they were down 26.4 million last fiscal year. So they have to come up with that money from somewhere. They have to take it from something. Right? Maybe they wanted to spend it on NAL, like the donations they were getting. They wanted to pay the players, and they have to reroute that
Yeah.
money somewhere. So to me, even the stuff about Sharon Moore's firing, like why are they going through all this over $3 million? They have the Matt Weiss lawsuits coming, right? That's another thing. If you want to,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Matt Weiss, you guys
Dang.
understand the Matt White lawsuits. I'm predicting they're going to be well over $100 million. They have a lot of problems and a lot of bills coming down. And remember, Santa Ono left that program. You guys understand? Actually, your audience does understand. I don't know why I say it. Your audience does understand. They have so many problems, so many headaches. Santa Ono left and chose unemployment, right? He did not have a job at Florida when he left. He literally left that school because of all the problems they're dealing with. And so that $3 million may mean a lot to him right now. Because why not just? I mean, we just did a 30 million buyout for Coach Smith, and we have less money than Michigan. So why are they doing all this to get rid of their coach? Because they are getting
Yeah.
rid of their coach. I'll say that right now. He is getting fired. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's going to be less than 10 days, like Michael Spath is saying or suggesting, right? Or if it's in the next month or two. I think he's done. I think he's
Yeah.
completely done. You can't throw your coach under the bus like this because and the blue wall that what we call them the blue wall because they're like all they do is talk about the program, everything's great, blah blah blah. Don't say anything bad, right? It's always someone else's fault. And here they're like fully putting blame on the coach, which does not happen if that coach is going to be coaching next year.
Yeah, and it's all coming out today, and with the Big Ten investigation stuff you brought up, I'm glad you brought up that. Hey, the Big Ten essentially, you know, uh, went out of their not out of their way, but they did something unprecedented with the Jim Harbaugh situation. So I do like knowing that they're involved in this situation as it is, and you know, the they're down bad over there. I mean, they are
Yeah.
down bad to call Ohio State fans, Michigan State fans, pathetic, and to point out the past things that we've had happen in our programs. The recent one with you guys is and the vacated wins for the recruiting violations, and then to come out and see your player headbutt a referee, the flopping going on. I mean, they get on the official gets on the thing and says no, there was no foul on the play. The player embellished the contact. And then we hear the comms thing. And then you also see them standing on the M after the game while all players are sitting there on the thing. Now, our players wanted to plant the flag, got told one time not to, and then stopped. Not only that, it came out today. Michigan players were waiting in the tunnel for Ohio State players to start coming in. The cops had to go tell them to move. Like literally, and it all starts from the head down, man. It starts from the head down. That's why you see the culture at Ohio State right now, the brotherhood, the culture there is elite. That's because of Ryan Day. When you see these things happening at Scum, it started with Jim Harbaugh. That's where all this started. And then it started way before this, but that's just who they are. That's what they do to try to stay relevant. And then Jim Harbaugh leaked down. Sharon Moore was underneath him. Then they hire him. That's going to keep that all in-house, right? When you take the offensive coordinator that worked for Jim Harbaugh and you make him your head coach, all of that culture of cheating and being the villain and doing all this stuff, it's going to stay in-house. So And now you see their fan base all of a sudden loses to the rival, and then on their own message board, they're starting these things with Sharon Moore, throwing him under the bus, doing all kind of crazy things. So the Michigan program down bad. The Buckeyes did what the NCAA would not do, what the NCAA was required to do, and we gave them a bowl ban, man. So I absolutely love it. That's what I'm most excited about. We'll see how this investigation ends up turning, what this thing ends up turning into. But you brought up, man, I mean, Michigan is supposed to come out, right? If they know what happened, if they find out what happened, they're obligated to do so. If what I'm being told is true, that's going to be happening here very shortly. They should be coming forward with exactly what happened and exactly who did it. Again, that's the source that I'm talking to. That's what I'm being told. We'll see if his 60-40 goes down to 50-50 or not, or up to 70-30. We will find out. Intrinsic, anything else to add to this poor, down, bad program in Michigan who brought this all on themselves?
Yeah, this is insane. The level of craziness this is, it's just I got stuff coming at me all day. I know the Buckeye Scoop and Buckeye Boys. I know Dev's on it. We're all on this stuff, and something is definitely coming out that's imminent. Hopefully we get to the bottom of what there's cheating thing that happened on the sideline, because we need to know if they cheated, because that to me is a bigger deal. They're gonna fire Sharon. I want them to keep Sharon more personally. So, but
Yes.
but yeah, I mean, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening to me. Yeah, it's just Michigan. It's doing same old Michigan things. So
Yeah.
as soon as
Yo,
you think
go.
it's over, it's never over. It's
I
just
know.
literally.
If you guys want some entertainment, some gold, some nuggets, you guys already know. Go follow Intrinsic on Twitter. His page is absolutely loaded with nuggets about all kind of things going on. He keeps a close eye on them, holds them accountable, and it's very entertaining. And I love it, brother. We'll have you back on again. Of course, you're becoming family here in Buckeye Nation, so I appreciate the heck out of you if you're coming on, brother. Stay blessed, man.
Yeah, appreciate all you guys. Thank you. Y'all have a good evening.
Yep. Well, there you guys have it. It's hard not to talk about these things that happen. There are rival, and this is what happened. I don't see a lot of other people talking about it, and it's just making me, very frustrated. But we'll see if Michigan comes out and says what happened. They are on probation, so if they come out and they find that somebody did something that works for Michigan that they shouldn't have done in terms of these comms, they're on probation. It will be very interesting to see what comes of them. And who knows? It could line up where Michigan found out that one of their staffers, in fact, did this. And now they're setting Sharon up more again to be the fall guy with all these rumors that are floating around, which, we all heard Spiro on Scoop. It sounds to be true, but they've known about it. So this kind of times up. The calm stuff happens. They know they're at fault. So, hey, let's give the NCAA something I know they'll accept. Let's just go ahead and fire our head coach and say, hey, he's gone. Now we're officially washed clean. Get rid of him. So it's interesting. All these things happening around this program. I mean, it's just kind of sad, man, because the young men in this program, dude, these are the young men of our country, and it just sucks, right? That they're around people that do things like this. I mean, the sign stealing allegations were disgusting enough, and there's still people left on that staff that were a part of that. And to me, man, that just got brushed under the rug. To me, I mean, you're impacting. I mean, look what happened to Ryan Day as a result of some of these things, right? I mean, death threats, all those things. And I know it's the people's fault that giving them the death threats, like chill out. I mean, that's absolutely ludicrous to do that. But all that stuff happened for a reason. It was their message board warriors, and everything else, and they're going to continue to do it. We keep hearing about the J.J. Smith touchdown. It was a touchdown. Even if it wasn't, you guys were screwed. But Buckeye Nation, I think that's it on that. Unless I hear something else, I think we're done with this subject for now. We're going to move on to the Big Ten title game tomorrow. I will be diving into that, talking about the matchup that we have with Indiana. I'm stoked. There were a couple press conferences today. Coach Sig got on there and said some things. Had a little bit different tone this year than he did last year. I think Will Howard, when he put that Sig out on the ground, it might have calmed him down just a little bit. So we'll dive into that a little bit tomorrow. And listen, guys, I promise you. Okay, so right now, everybody's focus is on Chris Henry Jr., Caden Dixon-Wyatt. And I've already told you guys what I know there. Things can change in the blink of an eye. Caden could end up a Buckeye. Chris Henry could end up a Duck. That I literally have the exact opposite information right now over there on the Scoop message board. Go check that out. They were all over it today. One of the first ones to start reporting on it. Put on my Twitter account too. Hey, just lost a recruit. About an hour later, you see all the national media putting in all these crystal balls going towards Caden Dixon-Wyatt to USC. But the Ducks, Dan Lanning, they're still hard at Chris Henry Jr. This isn't going to be the last. It's not going to be the last recruit that gets brought up in terms of flipping. It's just, this is this time of the year. They know they can rile these Buckeye fans up. They'll get a lot of clicks. So I promise you, it would not surprise me if every day this week there's a new story coming out about Kari Wilder or Sam Greer or who knows. Probably not an in-state guy, which Chris Henry Jr., I consider him an in-state guy. But somebody in their class that we're not even thinking about right now, somebody's going to do a story on them and another team trying to get them. Other teams are going after our recruits right now. Other teams are throwing really large bags of money. So put yourself in their shoes and ask yourself, hey, if I'm going somewhere for 100K, somebody comes in with 500K, what will I do? You know, it's really hard to get a grasp on this recruiting industry. Again, I've said 100 times, you guys know who I talk to. I'm very clear about that. It's very obvious who I talk to. And I still can't get a beat on it. I still can't, understand what is going on. Don't know what's really going to happen. So just imagine some of these other people, these other big time websites that try to cover national recruiting. I mean, can you imagine? I talk to families, recruits themselves, and different people as well. And when money is involved, it just changes everything. But we're Ohio State. We've been through this 100 times. We've lost 100 recruits that we didn't think we would survive losing. If, God forbid, knock on wood, we lose Chris Henry Jr., we are going to be just fine. I promise you. And I think you guys know that deep down. Will it suck? Yes. I am brokenhearted. Yeah, if Caden Dixon-Wyatt signs with USC, it's going to break my heart. I love that kid. Got a close relationship with his family. Was stoked he was going to be a Buckeye. Had him on the show. Interviewed him the whole 9 yards. I still think he's going to be an amazing college football player, and I want nothing but the best for Caden. Love his mom. Love his family. Love him. Got to meet a bunch of them. They're an amazing group of people, and the kid has potential that is out of this world. If he puts his head down and focuses and gets developed correctly, USC, let's just keep it real. You guys aren't going to like this, but they're pretty good at putting out some good wide receivers. Are they as good as Ohio State? No, they're not. They're just not. Do they win like Ohio State? No, man, they just don't. Is it, but they do develop wide receivers. Oregon, not so much. For all their wide receivers to go to Oregon, I'm just like, bro, I don't know what you're doing. Show me the proof that they have any idea what they're doing in developing wide receivers. Everybody's looking at DeCorian Moore this year and all these other things. We'll see. Maybe they'll step their game up, but they ain't no Ohio State dude. These Buckeyes are on to the Big Ten title, then on to the playoffs, man. It's good to be a Buckeye right now. Hit the alert bell on this Buckeye Boys channel. I might be dropping this video on the Scoop channel as well. I don't know. And it's looking like every Sunday and every Tuesday, I will be streaming on the Buckeye Boys channel only. And then every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'll be over there on Scoop. So that's a little bit of a schedule for you guys. The timing doesn't line up anymore. I can't keep doing 8-10 p.m. shows. I run a couple businesses, so timing gets real finicky. I've been freaking podcasting my ears off. So I've got to switch up my timeline a little bit. So yeah, Nevada and B Moses, they go at 7:10 every day. That's like the perfect time for me to go. I went at that time for a long time, so I'm probably going to have to keep that time when I do on Sundays and Tuesdays when I switch over right to the Buckeye Boys channel a little bit. But appreciate you guys for joining. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Appreciate the support. All the love you guys give every day. This is a fan channel ran by fans for fans. We're going to be having some $50 trivia giveaways here shortly. I owe you guys 2 or 3 of them, something like that. These playoffs are coming up. This time next year, I need your guys' help. You can help by hitting the like button on this video, subscribing to the Buckeye Boys, and sharing this stream anywhere that you can. You can really help with that because all the revenue that goes into this channel goes directly back out of this channel for you guys to ticket giveaways. Gave a ticket away this year to the Washington game. Met my brother there, watched the game together. It was an awesome time. So I want to be giving away a lot more tickets next year, hopefully to the playoffs next year as well. But on that note, guys, appreciate the heck out of you guys. Love you guys. Go Buckeyes. OH.